my Festool Capex that's actually gas powered. You can see here it's a Festool miter saw and it is powered by gas. Now you might be thinking, wait, I see a cord coming off the back of this, but that is where you're wrong. If you follow that cord, it connects over here into our gas power, okay? This is our fairly new, I mean, I bought it brand new, I've had it for a few months now. This is a small generator. It's not meant to really take a heavy load, but I didn't want a big giant like contractor generator because then I'd have to carry it, then I'd have to make space for it in the van, and I was like, I wonder what I could get by with this for the tools that I use. So not only do I have a gas powered Festool Capex, I have a gas powered saw stop, my table saw right here, and then a gas powered Laguna Biflux dust collection system. So this little generator is awesome. It has its limitations though, and I want to make this video because when I was doing my research to see like, man, can it run the tools that I want? There was really nothing out there. Like I couldn't find anything. So hopefully this helps you guys if you're in the market for a generator or you just are kind of curious what these little things can run. Now I will say that this thing is tiny. It takes a gallon of gas. We filled it up today. It's super lightweight, it's really quiet, and it's really easy to store, and it's great. I've loved having it. The reason I got it is because we went to a job, no power on the job. Decided to leave. A guy said he was gonna have power, came back next time, like the following week, still no power. I was like, you know what? I do not want to play this game. And then I've got a job way out in the country, like an hour and a half from where we typically work, and power is going to be an issue out there too. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this out. And the cool thing about these, you can hook up right here parallel operation outlets. So they make these cables. I could buy another one of these. You plug it up right here, these two kind of like cables where you connect another Honda to it, and I could have two of these running and double my power. And I might do that because I still get to have two small generators. I don't have to have a big giant thing. And Honda is like notoriously known for being like the best generator around. I don't know how true that is. Again, I'm kind of new to this and doing my research, but it does start on the first pull every time. Never had an issue with it, and it is really quiet. And I've had this thing for about, I want to say like 4 months or something, if I remember correctly. This was, I think, 1100. So if I buy another one, I'm in 2200, and I have that max, bigger capacity. So I'm going to start it up, show you guys that it can run some of the tools, show you the limitations. But yeah, all my gas powered tools are actually working on this thing. So let's check it out. Pretty easy to turn on, turn it to on, choke, and then just pull it. So you can hear it there. My microphone's pretty sensitive, so it's probably sounding louder for what you're hearing than what we're actually hearing. But we're right by the motor right here, so it's pretty loud. You're not usually gonna use it, like, you can't use it indoors obviously, but you're not gonna use it in the same space that you're working. But if I pick it up and take it around the other side of the van, the sound drops significantly. I've got the exhaust and kind of the sound facing that way, away from us, and the noise kind of goes away. You can hear I-35 more than you can hear that thing, so at least from what I can hear. Now, miter saw works great with that thing, like no complaints at all. The only thing is the limitation on this one, like for example, we're cutting this 2x6 stuff with it. I've got it connected, gas powered Festool. You gotta take your time on cuts. If you're just like rushing through, and which I take my time anyways, but if you're just like cutting really fast, you're gonna trip that thing. It's too much for it to handle. Now, one of the things that will overload it is that on that little generator, you cannot run two machines at once. You can't even run this vacuum. So like I've got my vacuum hooked up here, and if I plug my miter saw into my vacuum and run it off the auto start, so I'm plugging the vacuum now into the generator, and if I try to cut something, let me grab another scrap, I'm gonna overload that generator. And if you listen to that, the motor on the Capex, if you're familiar with the Capex, you know that motor sounds a lot slower than it typically does. If you listen to when I cut without the vacuum versus now with, the motor even just sounds weaker. But one of the things about the Honda that people were saying was that it gives you clean electricity, like clean sine, whatever those waves are. It's not like real jumpy. It's really focused on giving you like the clean electricity wave. And I didn't want to damage any of my tools, so I was like, I kind of want to go with the Honda, even though like Predator and all those other like cheaper versions were out there. I just kind of was leaning towards Honda, but I am about to trip this thing, and you're gonna hear it. So you hear it right there? It cut me off. I can't do anything now. If we go over to the generator, it's gonna say outlet overload. It's not good for the generator, so I don't want to really keep doing that. But the point is, I think you get the point. You're not going to be able to run two things off of this. So I may get another generator and parallel connect them eventually. But we don't need it that much. But when we need it and I want to make a cut, I'm good. Some people would say, well, why don't you just, you're going through all this trouble, why don't you just get cordless? And there's a good fair point there. You have cordless vacuums, you have cordless miter saws, you have cordless table saws. I don't think you have big cordless dust collection, but most of us don't really use that a lot of the time on job sites. I just like my cabled stuff, my corded stuff. Like this miter saw has become my favorite. This table saw has become my favorite. Not a huge fan of the cordless table saws, although the Festool one is kind of my favorite one now, even though it's not meant for like ripping and stuff. That's a whole nother topic. But I gotta go over here and reset the generator. So it's like a fuse, like when you trip a breaker at your house, you gotta push this reset button and it'll give it a minute and it'll come back. So we'll switch over to the table saw. And what's funny about it, I forgot what I researched, but the table saw uses like a different amount of amps or watts. I don't know, the electricians are gonna just destroy me in the comment section of this, but something changes, all right, from the from the miter saw to the table saw. The table saw uses less of that thing, whether it's amps or watts or whatever, and for whatever reason that is, the table saw actually runs a lot smoother. So check this out. I'm gonna rip this 2x right here. We'll just give it a little rip off here. Still kind of thinking with this smaller generator, I'm not gonna feed stuff through like super fast. Again, I don't do that anyways, but I wanna be aware of that. Now, if we try to run our dust collection with it, which I've actually never tried, but since this uses less amps or whatever, this might actually work. So we'll give it a shot. I'll sacrifice my generator for training purposes. Yeah, this probably ain't gonna work. There's no way this is gonna work, but I already said we'll do it, so. Are you serious? I cannot believe that worked. And we don't have an overload alarm, so that's, I don't know how a table saw and a dust collector can run, but not, these just use higher electrical things for some reason. So these are kind of the big tools, right? Everything else can be cordless. I still, you know, got my domino, small one, big one. I have my corded sanders. There's tools that I prefer and that are only made corded. So there's that. And then there's the fact that we're not gonna be using this generator a lot, but let me turn it off. So you can now see what that generator is capable of, that Honda, and I'll link that down below so you can see the specs on it if you're in the market and you're trying to get one of these things. I'm definitely not the guy to ask. I just wanted to put this out there because when I bought it, I had no idea when I turned it on what it was gonna do to that miter saw. Like if it was gonna, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Was it even gonna work? But it does operate. If you need to cut, you will have to use a cordless vacuum, which we do have. This will work really good. And apparently these two work together. So there's that.